June 25, 2001. Village Algol in the Medak district of the South Indian state of Andhra Pradesh was the host to a unique event called Praja Teerpu, People's Verdict. A farmers' jury on food futures in the state of Andhra Pradesh was organized in the context of the then government's approach to farming, land use and marketing. The Andhra Pradesh government had presented this approach in its so-called Vision 2020. Though Vision 2020 had planned profound transformation of food and farming systems, it had not cared to seriously involve small farmers and rural people in shaping this policy scenario. Praja Teerpu was a direct response to this. For 4 days, from June 26 to June 29, 2001, 18 small and marginal farmers selected from all over Andhra Pradesh sat as a jury to select an agricultural option best suited to them. The Praja Teerpu was also a scenario workshop. Most of the jury members were non-literate. The mode of presentation was visual. Separate visions of agriculture were selected to this jury. 3 films, each of which presented a particular vision of the food and farming futures, were shown to the jury to create the context for their deliberations. The first film created a scenario of how food and farming would look like if the government's Vision 2020 was operationalized. Vision 2020 was a policy that promoted neoliberal approaches such as contract farming, corporate farming, labor displacement, biotechnology, export orientation, and intensive livestock farming as the solutions to the farming sector.
విజన్ 2020 ప్రకటించినప్పుడు కోళ్ల పరిశ్రమను ఒక ప్రధానమైన అభివృద్ధి సాధనంగా గుర్తించారు. ఎందుకో ఇప్పుడు అర్థం అవుతోంది.
The second film mapped out a likely scenario if market-oriented organic farming became the state policy.
ప్రకృతి సిద్ధ వ్యవసాయ పద్ధతుల ద్వారా ఉత్పత్తిని, ఆ ఉత్పత్తుల వర్తకాన్ని ఈ నూతన విధానం ప్రోత్సహించింది. రసాయన వ్యవసాయం నుంచి బయటపడిన పంటల్లో వరి, పప్పులు, కూరగాయలు వంటి ఆహార పంటలే కాక పొగాకు, పత్తి వంటి వ్యాపార పంటలు కూడా ఉన్నాయి. పాడి పశువులు, కోళ్ళు వంటి వాటి పెంపకంలో కూడా ప్రకృతి పద్ధతులను అనుసరించడం జరుగుతోంది.
The last film created a hypothetical scenario where the local food systems formed the mainstay of the state policy.
రైతుల పొలాల్లోనూ చుట్టుపక్కల ఉన్న జీవ వైవిధ్యం స్థాయి ఆధారంగా క్రిముల నియంత్రణ, పోషకాల పునరుత్పాదకత, ఎరువుల వినియోగం నిర్ణయమవుతాయి. ఆధునిక వ్యవసాయ జీవ పర్యావరణ శాస్త్రాన్ని, స్థానికమైన దేశీయమైన పరంపరాగత పరిజ్ఞానాన్ని మేళవించే పని సాగుతోంది.
The Praja Teerpu was a jury of the voiceless, the small and marginal farmers, a majority of who were Dalits and women, heard presentations from the big and the powerful. The witnesses included representatives from various sectors such as the government.
ఈ విజన్ 2020లో ఈ రాష్ట్ర యొక్క జీడిపి సుమారు 30% వరకు మన అగ్రికల్చర్ అలీడ్స్ సెక్టర్స్ నుంచి మన జీడిపికి మనం ఆదాయం వస్తుంది.
Agricultural universities.
కొద్దిగా తర్వాత మాట్లాడతాను. ముఖ్యంగా నేను మాట్లాడేది ఏంటంటే చాలా చోట్ల ఏం జరుగుతుందంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ మెకనైజేషను, ఈ ట్రాక్టర్లు, హార్వెస్టర్లు, కంబైనర్లు ఇవన్నీ వస్తూ ఉన్నాయి. దీనివల్ల నిరుద్యోగం కాదు, ఎక్కువ ఉద్యోగం వస్తూ ఉంది. పంజాబ్లో మేము భయపడతా ఈ ట్రాక్టర్లు అవి పెట్టాము. కానీ ఇప్పుడు ఎంత సమస్య వచ్చిందంటే వాళ్ళకి లేబర్ దొరకట్లేదు. ప్రతి సంవత్సరం బీహార్ నుంచి, యూపీ నుంచి లేబర్ వస్తామంటే వాళ్ళని సరుకులు ఎత్తుకుని రైల్లోంచి ట్రక్కులు పెట్టి తీసుకెళ్తున్నారు.
Farmers' organizations.
ఈరోజు ఈ రైతు సమస్యల విషయంలో రైతుల్లో చాలా ఇదమిద్దాం. ఇప్పుడు ఇంతసేపు నేను మాట్లాడుతా అంటే మీరు అంటా అంటారు, ఎట్లా సార్ మన ఊర్లో మనం అమ్మాలి సార్, వాడు బయటోడు వస్తే ఎట్లా సార్, అమెరికా వాడు వస్తే, లండన్ వాడు వస్తే ఎట్లా సార్ అని. మీ ఊర్లో సావుకారు ఎప్పుడన్నా మీకేమన్నా ఉచితంగా వడ్డీ లేకుండా అప్పు ఇచ్చినాడమ్మా?
In 100 years, using classical breeding with the help of the knowledge of Gregor Mendel, we were able to take the potential of rice yield from barely 2 tons.
Industry.
This rice has been genetically engineered to contain beta carotene, which is the precursor of vitamin A. So this is the golden rice, which is slightly yellow in color. It has got vitamin A in it by genetic engineering. So this is a research done by a Swiss scientist and a German scientist, completed only just more than a year ago, and this is what is called the golden rice, and this is just one example of what genetic engineering can do.
Biotechnologists.
The supporters of GM foods or genetic engineering would like us to believe that recombinant DNA technology, that is genetic engineering, is same as conventional breeding.
Agricultural economists.
The concern in the traditional societies to see that the native seeds were preserved. Even during the days of famine, people have died out of starvation, but we could see that there are documents to say that the traditional seeds were preserved. They never tried to use the seeds and eat away and see some more rescue.
Civil society activists.
అడవి నుంచి మనకు వచ్చే ఆహారం 180 వంతులు మనం తినే తిండిలో 180 వంతులు అడవి నుంచి వస్తుంది.
We have very low prices. We have many farmers committing suicide because they cannot make a living. We have many experts and government ministers giving advice and making policies, and just as appears to be happening here, never actually talking to the farmers and consulting us on what we want and what we can do and what we would like to see.
Farmer leaders from abroad.
My own farm is 41 hectares. Now I know that is very much bigger than many farms in India, but in Britain I am still a small farmer. There are 100,000 farmers who farm farms of a similar size to mine.
Campaigners on globalization.
That there is a big resistance to globalization happening all over the world, and what alternative solutions are beginning to emerge.
Livestock specialists.
ఈరోజు చూసుకుంటే మన వ్యవసాయం రంగంలో ఎడ్లు కొరత చాలా చాలా ఎక్కువగా ఒక పెద్ద సమస్యగా ఉంటుంది.
The jury heard all the arguments very carefully and asked questions.
ఇప్పుడు మీరు 2-3 సంవత్సరాలు ఆ భూమిని తయారు చేయాలంటే పంట రాదు, మా ముందు వేయకుండా పిండ్లు వేయకుంటాను, మరి రైతు బతకడం ఎలా?
పెట్టి ఇప్పుడు కొసాకారి కత్తలు మనుషులమే దక్కినాం, అడ్లు అమ్మినా అప్పు తీరలేదు.
4 సంవత్సరాల వర్షాలు కురిసి ఇంకా 3 ఏళ్ళు లేదంట. మేము వాళ్ళకొకరు బిడ్డలు పాపలతో అక్కడ పూసుండవు, ఎక్కడ భూములు అక్కడ తాకి మేము ఆ విధానం బతికేది.
మరి ఒడ్ల గింజకు జన్ని మార్పిల్ల నుంచి అవి ఇవి విటమిన్స్ వేసి చేస్తామంటున్నారు. ఆ విటమిన్స్ తినే తలకల మా మనిషి ఆరోగ్యం పోతుందో, ఇప్పుడు ఏ కీళ్ళ నొప్పులు వస్తున్నాయి, అవి వస్తున్నాయి, ఇవి వస్తున్నాయని ఆసుపత్రిలోకి వెళ్తున్నాం.
The observers panel, headed by Justice P.B. Sawant, former judge of the Supreme Court of India, ensured that the process was unbiased. Small group discussions, bringing issues back to the plenary and coming to a conclusion. And now, the verdict.
మా పంట మనం పండించుకొని మా కాలమాన నిలబడే ఏర్పాట్లే ఉండాలి.
Praja Teerpu. Having heard evidence and deliberated between June 26th and July 1st, 2001, we present the following verdict. Our vision. We desire food and farming for self-reliance and community control over resources. To maintain healthy soils, diverse crops, trees and livestock, and to build on our indigenous knowledge, practical skills and local institutions. We oppose the proposed reduction of those making their livelihood from the land from 70% to 40% in Andhra Pradesh. Land consolidation and displacement of rural people, contract farming, labor displacing mechanization, GM crops including vitamin A rice and BT cotton, loss of control over medicinal plants including their export.
This is a new experience in the sense that we are telling our ideas, strategies, etc. and there is immediate reaction from the jury group, both women and men who are participating here. And I'm delighted to see their interest, delighted to see their knowledge and also their curiosity.
This is unique by itself. I never seen anywhere. We are doing so many training programs to the farmers. Thousands of farmers every year being trained in different technological aspects in agriculture. But this type of approach like judge and like that some court-like thing is now a new system or new thing which was introduced by the organizers, and I congratulate the organizers for doing such type of new approach in bringing about or in exposing the problems which the farmers are facing and knowing the solutions for those problems.
This type of exercise to be placed before the policy makers, before international bodies is of extreme importance. Definitely it's worth it.
Basically a process of learning for me. The way people ask questions was absolutely unexpected. I did not know really what were their feelings, what were their experiences, and what kind of questions they were going to ask. And it's a absolutely, completely new process of learning for me.
This is one of the tools, and it's a very good tool for public governance because you get a very good feedback and also you get inputs. When you are making planning, when you are doing some policy planning, you get inputs from the people, and also if one continues and follows up that, you get also feedback.
It works very well. I mean, it brings together, I think someone just now said that it brought 2 farmers from each region together. Now, if those go back and they tell 10 other farmers and those 10 other farmers tell more farmers, you know, it very soon spreads. And it's also a very good way of bringing all the thoughts and all the ideas together.
It's very good and very innovative, and I think it best suits to our condition.
What could emerge from this event, which certainly the visitors have found very interesting and inspiring, is an example, not just of something we don't want, but an example of working with people from the south towards something that both they want, and it also is exactly what we want in the north as well. We want to protect our local economies. We don't want to be in ruthless competition with other people.